Hello everyone, this is Asra Sultana, Assistant Professor in Triple Department, ISL Engineering College. I am taking the subject Power System Operation and Control for Triple Final Year students. So we have started the second unit. So what are the contents of second unit? We have seen already input output curve, heat rate and incremental cost curve, equal incremental cost criterion neglecting and including transmission losses, BMN coefficients. Okay, then we have seen various curves, input output curves. The major component of generator operating cost is fuel input per hour, while maintenance will contribute only to a small extent. Now, as already said in the previous classes, fuel cost will be meaningful only in case of thermal and nuclear station. But for hydro station, we are not going to consider the cost because water is free of cost. Okay. So operating cost will not be useful in such case, like in hydro station like that. Okay, and more precisely, we are taking into consideration thermal stations. Okay, already we have discussed in the previous classes. So input output curve of a unit can be expressed in million kilocalories per hour or directly in terms of rupees per hour versus output in megawatts. Okay, already we have seen in the previous class the input output curve of generating unit. On x-axis, we are taking here power output in megawatts, and y-axis, we are taking operating cost in rupees per hour or fuel in million kilocalories per hour. So what is a unit here? Unit is nothing but it is a combination of boiler, turbine and generator. Okay. So whenever we are talking of a unit is a combination of boiler, turbine and generator. So cost curve can be determined experimentally here. See, these are the values of minimum power and maximum powers. Okay, we are writing here dotted lines, maximum power and minimum power. Then input output curve, that is optimal operation of generators on the bus bar. Here we have seen here same input output curve, but on y-axis we are taking the fuel input in million BTU per hour. What is this BTU? British thermal unit. Okay, British thermal unit per hour versus power output in megawatt. Okay, same input output curve. Then we have seen incremental fuel cost curve. That is incremental fuel cost in rupees per megawatt hour we are taking, and x-axis we are taking power output in megawatts. Okay, this is the minimum power, maximum power. Now let us see a equation for Ci, that is half AI PGI square plus BI PGI plus DI. So this is a polynomial equation, second degree polynomial equation. Okay, so why we are using this equation? So by fitting a suitable degree polynomial equation, so expression for operating cost we are finding out, that is Ci. Okay, Ci we are finding out. Ci is equal to how much? Half AI PG square, that is half, it is like ax square plus bx plus c. Okay, so same thing we are writing here as Ci is equal to half AI PGI square plus bi PGI plus di. It is expressed in rupees per hour. So the slope of the cost curve, that is dci by dpgi, is called as here incremental fuel cost, IC. Okay, incremental fuel cost I am denoting it by IC, and it is expressed in units of rupees per megawatt hour, that is uh, rupees per megawatt hour. Just now we have seen here rupees per megawatt hour. So ICI equal to AI PGI plus DI. So we are having the linear relationship here, that is ICI is equal to AI PGI plus BI. So we are approximating the cost curve as quadratic in equation 1. So ICI is equal to AI PGI plus BI. What is PGI here? PGI is alpha I plus beta I, ICI plus gamma I, ICI square and so on. This is my third equation. So for optimal operation of generator, we are assuming that it is known a priori which generator are to run to meet a particular load demand on the station. So we are assuming here we know which generator is running to meet the particular load demand on the station, that is summation PGI max is greater than or equal to PD. So what is PGI max here? It is rated real power capacity of the ith generator. And what is PD? PD is the total power demand on the station. So PD is the power demand and PGI max is the rated real power capacity of the ith generator. So further the load on each generator is to be constrained within lower and upper limits. Okay. It cannot operate beyond these limits, beyond this minimum value and beyond the maximum value. That is PGI should always lie between PGI max and PGI min. What is I here? I is 1, 2, 3 and so on till K. Summation PGI max is greater than PD. Okay. C equal to so the optimal manner in which the load demand PD must be shared by the generators on the bus by minimizing the operating cost. C will be equal to what? Summation T is equal to 1 to K CI PGI. CI PGI means what here? What I'm telling here, that is the operating cost is equal to what? Summation. I can take here T or I can take it as I. Okay. Okay, I take it as I equal to 1 to K CI PGI. Okay. It is not is. Please correct it, all the students. It is I here. So I is equal to 1 to K CI. It is a function of PGI we are writing here. Okay, 1 to K. It can be 1, 2, 3, C1 plus C2 plus C3 plus and so on. So C is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to K CI PGI under the equality constant of meeting the load demand, that is summation I is equal to 1 to K PGI minus PD equal to 0. What is K here? Number of generators on the bus. CI is non-linear and CI is independent of PGJ. So this is a separable non-linear programming problem. Now here we are assuming that inequality constant of this equation, that is summation PGI max greater than or equal to PD. This equation, it is not effective and problem can be solved by the method of Lagrange multipliers. Okay. So we can define the Lagrange L. See here, this is L. L Lagrange is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to K Ci PGI minus lambda summation I is equal to 1 to K PGI minus PD. What is lambda here? Lambda is the Lagrange multiplier. So minimization can be achieved by the condition differentiation of this Lagrange uh, with respect to PGI and equate it to 0. Okay. So partial derivative we can take. Okay. Partial derivative of Lagrange L, dou L by dou PGI equal to 0. Or dou Ci by dou Pi is equal to lambda. Okay. Dou Ci or dCi by dPi is equal to lambda. I equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on till K. What is this dCi by dPgi? We can write this as dou Ci by dou Pgi or dCi by dPgi. It is the incremental cost of ith generator. What are its units? Rupees per megawatt hour. A function of generator loading PGI. Okay. Now this equation 10, that is dCi by dPgi equal to lambda, can be written as dC1 by dPg1 is equal to dC2 by dPg2 and so on, dCk by dPgk equal to lambda. Okay. Same thing. Whatever we are writing here, in place of I am writing 1, 2, 3 and so on till k. So 1, 2 and so on till k we are equating as lambda. Okay. Now let us see the steps. What are the various steps? Okay. A computer solution for optimal loading of generators can be obtained iteratively as follows. First, we have to choose a trial value of lambda, that is IC is equal to IC0 or lambda is equal to lambda 0. Some lambda 0 value we are assuming in the starting. Then second step is solve for PGI. From equation PGI equal to alpha I plus beta I plus gamma I ICI square and so on. Okay. Then third step, if mod of this summation PGI minus PD is less than epsilon, what is epsilon here? Epsilon is some specified value. Then optimal solution is reached. Otherwise, increment IC by delta IC or decrement IC by delta IC. When you have to increment IC by delta IC, if this mod of the summation PGI minus PD is less than 0, and if this mod of summation PGI minus PD is greater than 0, then decrement IC by delta IC and repeat from step 2. Now let us see some numericals based on this topic. Incremental fuel cost in rupees per megawatt hour for a plant consisting of two units are DCI by DPGI is DC1 by DPG1 is equal to 0.2 PG1 plus 4 plus 40. DC2 by DPG2 is 0.25 PG2 plus 30. Assume that both units are operating at all times and total load varies from 40 megawatt to 250 megawatt and the maximum and minimum loads on each unit are to be 125 and 20 megawatts respectively. How will the load be shared between the two units as the system load varies over the full range? What are the corresponding values of the plant incremental cost? So at light loads, now let us see the solution. At light loads, unit 1 has the higher incremental fuel cost and will therefore operate at its lower limit of 20 megawatts. So DC1 by DPG1 equal to 0.20 into 20. Okay, 20 is PG1 value, it is given in the question, plus 40, that is 44 rupees per megawatt hour. Then DC2 by DPG2 is how much? 0.25 into 20 plus 30, that is 35 per megawatt hour. Okay. So with the increase in plant output, additional load should be borne by the unit 2 until DC2 by DPG2 is 44 rupees per megawatt hour. So until this point is reached, the incremental fuel cost of plant will corresponding to that of unit 2 alone. Okay. Now when the plant load is 40 megawatt, each unit will operate at its minimum bound, that is 20 megawatt, with lambda equal to rupees 35 per megawatt hour. So DC2 by DPG is how much? Rupees 44 per megawatt hour, that is 0.25 PG2 plus 30 is 44. Or what I can write from this equation, 0.25 PG2 is 44 minus 30, that is 14. So PG2 is 14 by 0.25, that is 56 megawatt. So total plant output is less than 56 plus 20. 56 plus this 20, that is 76. So from this point onwards, the values of plant load shared by the two units are found by assuming various values of lambda. So we are assuming here various values of lambda and finding out the values of Pg1, Pg2 and addition of this Pg1 and Pg2. For lambda equal to 35, Pg2 120, Pg2 20, addition of Pg1 and Pg2 40. Then at lambda 44, 20, 56, 76, 50. Okay. So we are assuming the values of some values of lambdas and finding out the values of Pg1, Pg2 and Pg1 plus Pg2. We are plotting a graph between incremental fuel cost in rupees per megawatt hour and output power. Okay. So to find the load sharing between the units for a plant output of 150 megawatt, we find from the curve that corresponding lambda is 52.22. So for 150 megawatt here, like this. For 150 megawatt, if you see here, value of the lambda will be 52.22. This is what it is asked in the question. Okay. Now let us see the next. That is optimal schedule for each unit for 150 megawatt planned load is found out as 0.2 Pg1 plus 40 is 52.22 and 0.25 Pg2 plus 30 is 52.22. So we can get the values of Pg1 and Pg2. That is addition of these two is how much? 150 megawatt. So optimum load sharing for any planned load can be directly read from the figure. So directly we can read from the figure. So it is 150 means what is the value? If it is 200, if it is 100, or if it is lying between 100 and 150, or 150 to 100, 200 and 250, what is the unit output in megawatt hour? Okay. Next numerical we will see here. For the plan described in the above problem, same problem, find the saving in fuel cost in rupees per hour for the optimal scheduling of a total load of 130 megawatt as compared to equal distribution of the same load between the two units. So we have to find the saving in the fuel gas for the same problem for the optimal scheduling of total load of 130 megawatt. So 0.2 Pg1 plus 40 is dC1 by dPg1 and 0.25 Pg2 plus 30 equal to these two equations we are writing. So what is given here in the equation? Pg1 plus Pg2 is 130 megawatt. So for optimal scheduling of load, we know the condition that dC1 by dPg1 is equal to dC2 by dPg2 is equal to, and so on. We have seen it. Okay. So from this, what we can write, equation 1 is equal to equation 2, that is 0.2 Pg1 plus 40 is equal to 0.25 Pg2 plus 30. So we have, when we solve these equations 3 and 4, we are going to get the value of Pg1 and Pg2 as 50 and 80 respectively. So if each unit supplies 65 megawatt, increase in cost per unit 1 will be what? Integral 0.2 Pg1 plus 40 Pg1, that is when you do the integration and the substitution of the lower and upper limits, we are going to get the value for unit 1 as 772.5 rupees per hour. So similarly for unit 2, we are getting it as minus 721.875 rupees per hour. So net saving cost by optimal scheduling will be what? 772.5 minus 721.87, addition of these two. Okay. So 50.625 rupees per hour. So total yearly saving assuming continuous operation will be 4,43,475. So this saving will justify the need for optimal load sharing and the devices to be installed for controlling the unit loadings automatically. Thank you everyone for watching the video. I hope everyone understood today's class. So today's class we have seen about the optimal generation of operation of generators on a bus bar, that is using Lagrange multiplier. Uh, we are writing the equation for optimal operation. We have found a condition for incremental cost, that is dC1 by dPg1 is equal to dC2 by dPg2 is equal to, and so on, dCk by dPgk equal to lambda. Okay, so this is the equation we are bothered about. This is the okay. Uh, with the help of this equation only we are going to solve the problems. I hope everyone understood these numericals. Next class we will continue with the next topics. Thank you everyone.